This is the Electron Wheel from Belon Engineering. I checked one of these out in 2013, we're now in 2015, and they've made several improvements, and I think they're now selling direct. Before they were selling through Curry Technologies, which makes iZip and eZip and is now part of the Excel group, so a little bit of background there. The vision with this is that you can get just kind of any bike and slap it right on the front. There's no wires or anything. It uses a wireless little pedal sensor, and essentially you get an electric bike. So what I've done here is just went to Walmart and got a $150 Schwinn. This one has 26-inch wheels, and it's got these kind of V brakes, or just standard rubberized brakes like this. One of the sort of limitations of this kit is that I don't think it works with disc brakes. So keep that in mind. There are still a lot of more affordable bikes like this one that you can totally use with this kit. And one of the big upgrades with their new sort of V2 wheel is that it's offered in a 24-inch, 26-inch, or 700C, which is roughly 28 inches. So very cool. I've got the box here. I actually took this into Burning Man. I had another bike which got left on the playa, so I had to buy a second bike to do this review. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to do the review because you have to download an app to get this to work, and there was no internet out there at Burning Man. So keep that in mind. If you get this and you expect to kind of convert it on site, because it is very fast, very easy, just make sure you download that app ahead of time so you don't get stuck with like a non-working kit like I did. So here is the box. I'm just going to do a quick little unboxing, kind of open it up like this. You can see it's a little bit dusty still. Got just the standard charger right here. I think I weighed this earlier. It's a couple pounds. Fairly standard charger, easy to take along with you if you want to, charge on the fly, like if you're commuting to work or something. Looks like it's a 4 amp, so not too bad. A lot of chargers I see are like 2 amps, so that's going to go pretty fast. Here's the other little box. This is another charger, and it's sort of this pedal sensor thing, so you can kind of see it here, just a little wall charger. Looks like this one's 1 amp. Yeah, and this little box right here goes onto your pedal. So this thing has a little sensor inside of it, and as it rotates around, basically it sends a wireless signal to the wheel to go. Kind of has its own on-off switch and its own little charging port. One of the big upgrades for the V2 is that you can now mount this on the outside of the crank or the inside of the crank. And that was one of the complaints I had with the last version of this kit, is that when I mounted it to the inside of my crank, it actually was hitting the chainstay right here, the left chainstay. So, that wasn't too cool, and I'm gonna have to see how this works here when I set this up, but great that you can kind of adjust this now, and they solved one of those issues. If we dig in a little bit deeper, oh, now we're getting to the real good stuff. Take out all these styrofoam pieces. Do have kind of a little bit of an instruction. It talks about the app and everything like that. It's for iOS and Android. Basically, you set it up and then do a quick sort of calibration, and then you can choose from low, medium, and high. The old wheel only had one mode, so again, that's really cool, and it gives you a little bit of feedback about what the sensor lights mean, whether it's charged or not. So we'll set that down for now, and then we'll grab the wheel out of here. There it is. Just kind of lift it up. One of the things I've always liked about this design is that it's kind of got a pass through. Oh yeah, look how dusty this thing is. So we'll get to see how it performs. It's got a pass-through right here. You can easily grab. You can fill up the tire. There's the power button. There's the skewer. So, yeah, kind of unique looking for sure. Gonna see how this would look up next to the standard wheel that came with the bike. The tires don't match perfectly. You could always swap them out. I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to kind of leave the one that they've got. It says Kenda tire. Let's see what size it is. 26 by 1.25. So a little bit narrower for sure. And that's going to be more efficient. See, it doesn't have the same kind of tread that this larger tire that does. I think this is 26 by 2 inches. Yeah, exactly. So this one's going to be a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more grippy if I was going off-road, whereas this one will not. Also, this is a much lighter wheel than this. Of course, this has the battery, the controller, and the geared motor inside, 250 watt geared. So that might impact your steering just a little bit. When you get up to speed, like, it's not too bad because, you're kind of got the centripetal motion giving you some stability that way. But with the suspension fork like this, it is going to add a little bit of weight and maybe impact the performance of that. So just kind of keep that in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of move things around and start the installation. Oh, and one more thing. You might want to bring along a pump because I did have to kind of pump this up a little bit to get it to the right air pressure. Okay, so I got the little pedal sensor here. I'm going to go ahead and give that a try just on the inside as recommended. They say kind of keep it close to the inside of the crank. That's set up. Go ahead and release the front brake. Quick release skewer, really handy. There we go. And I did want to weigh it real quick just to get some idea of how much you're adding to the bike. So let's do that. $19.7, and they say 19.8 on the website, so that's actually pretty good. They're pretty honest about the weight that you're adding to your bike. Just for the sake of comparison, take this other wheel, give it a quick weighing. That weighs about 4 pounds, so you're getting 16 extra pounds in the form of that battery pack. It's a 24 volt, 10.6 amp hours, so not super large, and that's part of why it charges so fast. And then of course the hub motor, 250 watt internally geared hub motor. Okay, so you can see we've got a nice quick release skewer right there. The brakes are still open. The wheel's getting pretty straight. And then there's this little spring thing right here. And basically it pushes against the fork, I think, to create some leverage. And then it also lines this directly up and down because inside there's a leveling device. Because this wheel actually gives you a little bit of extra power if you're climbing. It's supposed to be a little bit smarter that way, in addition to having those 3 modes, which is very cool. On the older version of this, V1, there was like a little leveling bubble and there was all this extra stuff. I mean, this still sticks out a little bit, but it blends in a lot more nicely. And with this quick release lever here, it's just much easier to do. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up, but that's basically what it looks like as you're putting it on. And I was kind of, bumping into this plastic piece. It feels thin and stuff, but it looks like it's doing a decent job keeping dust out, and of course it conceals what's inside. It's black, so it might absorb a little bit more heat, but I think it looks nice. It blends in, and I think it would hide bumps and scrapes a little bit better than if it was white or something like that. So it's nice. There is a little bit of a breeze today, and might catch the wind a little bit, just like aero wheels do. I've noticed that sometimes with bikes, like with filled-in wheels like this, yeah, they're aerodynamic when you're going forward, but there's just a little bit more pressure from the side if there's a crosswind. So keep that in mind. I'm not sure if they recommend putting it on a bike with a suspension fork like this. A lot of times front-wheel drive electric motor kits say, oh, you should have a fixed steel fork because those are the most solid. But, from what I've seen, it looks pretty solid. And again, it's got like a little mini torque arm that goes into the dropout, and then you've got that pressure bar. So very cool. I'm excited to give it a go and just see how this thing performs. But first, we got to mess with the app. So I'm going to go grab that. Okay, so here we go. Just launching the Electron Wheel app. It says you have no recorded rides. We've got some settings here. Connect is the first one, so I think I'm going to have to power this on here. This little sensor box. Okay, we got the green light going on. It says please make sure your Electron Wheel is on, charged, and nearby. Okay, so I'm also going to have to turn on the wheel. So there's 2 parts there. You can see it light up. It's kind of nice. So everything's on. Discovering Electron Wheel. Select your Electron Wheel. It found it. Cool. Great. This is pretty seamless so far. New update. I'm going to do it later. They told me that this wheel is already up to date. Awesome. So now I could pick low, medium, or high, and then my pedal sensor inside or outside. Mine's inside right now. I'm just going to see if that actually works or if it collides. So just kind of pedal this forwards. Yeah, it does work. Cool. So see, there's enough room for it to be inside. I'm going to say pedal sensor inside. There's the video tutorial, which I already watched. So I think I'm going to calibrate it now. You can either reset your Electron Wheel to factory calibration setting or calibrate your Electron Wheel yourself. For best results, we highly recommend let's do it ourselves. So calibrate. It says hop on your bike and start riding from a current location. Ride at least 200 yards, ride in any direction, and turn whenever you want. Once you've ridden 200 yards, a back at starting point button will appear below and just return. So, okay. So you just ride it for a while and then we come back. I'm going to say start calibration. Cool. I can already feel it. It feels really nice. See how we're doing. We've gone 125 yards, a little bit further. So now it says back at starting point. So, yay, calibration finished. Awesome. Now I can pick from low, medium, or high, and we can go and give this thing a real test. Okay, so I'm about to take it for a real ride now that everything's calibrated and stuff. I'm definitely excited about this. I mean, yes, it's a little bit weaker in terms of motor power, but it's pretty affordable at around $1,000. It was very easy to install, and you know, for neighborhood riding like this, where you're just kind of cruising around, it definitely gives you a boost. And I like the addition of the smartphone app, giving you more choices. The range on this thing, you know, I'm estimating here, but I think it's probably 15 to 25 miles, and it really depends on whether you're in the low, medium, or high mode. But because there is no throttle mode on this thing, you're always going to be pedaling and kind of actively assisting the bike. So that definitely helps with range. Also, being able to charge it so quickly and having that lightweight charger, it's a good thing. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hop back on. I've got a couple hills around here to climb and try out. I'm gonna get the app out again real quick, and I'm just gonna start out in low mode just to see how that handles. So here we go. Just real gentle. I can hardly even hear it, but it is helping me. You know, I'm here climbing a hill, and it's noticeable. So this is technically a cadence sensing electric bike. It's not sensing how hard I'm pedaling or how fast we're going. It's just basically listening for that little device that's going around on those cranks. So I'll go ahead and change this up. Maybe take it to high. See if we can scale the rest of this hill. See what that's all about. So here we go. Yeah, quite a bit of delay there, maybe 2 or 3 seconds, but definitely liking the high mode. And I'm climbing a hill, so remember, this thing is supposed to sense that I'm on an incline and help out even more. I might turn around and see how it does going downhill. Feels fairly similar, and they say this has a top speed of about 20 miles per hour on the USA version, which is what I've got here. If you're in Europe, it goes to about 15.5 miles per hour just to comply with their laws. But since it's only available in a 250 watt mode, or like power level, that complies with pretty much everyone's laws around low speed electric bikes. So you won't have to have a license or insurance or anything on this. And I just love that you could take it off very easily. You could kind of remove this thing and get back to your original bike within a matter of minutes, literally. So that's kind of cool. I have been occasionally nicking that little box with my foot, but it stays pretty much out of the way. And as you could hear there's a little bit of kind of rattling, you know, depending on the bumps that I go over. There you go. Kind of that plasticky rattling noise occasionally, but it's not too bad, you know. It's a brand new unit, but you know, it's had a little bit of extra wear and tear going to Burning Man and then coming out. can't say for certain on this, but I went ahead and closed the app and left it in my car, and the bike still worked. So, you know, that's interesting. That was one of my concerns, is that I'd be, you know, pocketing my phone the whole time. And sometimes I just want to go for a ride and be unencumbered and not have, you know, my phone potentially ringing or getting lost or just bothering me in my pocket. So it's kind of cool. It seems like it stayed in the last level that I set, which was high. I didn't have my phone with me and it worked. So that's just kind of a heads up. Definitely get the app, calibrate it, get things going to begin with. And again, I can't confirm. I'll try to connect with the company and add this to the written review. But it really seems like once you've got it set up, you can kind of turn it on, turn it off, and it'll just remain in whatever mode that you last left it in with your cell phone. So very cool. Well, I think that's just about it. That's the Electron Wheel V2 from Belon Engineering. Definitely improved it since V1. It remains kind of a novel concept, a really easy and fairly affordable way to get into electric bikes. So for the full write-up on this and other little electric bike conversion kits, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com, and ride safe.